Greetings to the video. Today's 5 Minute Friday is going to be how to, regain confidence or get over having a bad crash or an accident on the bike. So I was asked this on Instagram by Show Annette. So I'm really sorry if you have recently had a crash. They are not nice. I think as cyclists, a lot of us have had them, and I'm just going to share my experience of it and how I kind of built my confidence up again, because I had a really bad crash. It was 2021, I think. And I basically had a bleed on my brain. I had a subdural hematoma. So long story short, I was on a riding on a wheel of a guy that I didn't really know that well. He didn't see a pothole. He hit the pothole, he went down. I then hit him, flew over him. And then the whole force of the crash, my head took the brunt of it. We were going pretty fast. We were on a flat road, so we were on it's kind of like a race kind of thing. So we were going hard, and it was raining, and yeah, I just took the whole impact of that on my head. So I had a black eye, I had a bloodied nose, I was unconscious initially. Some lovely people on the street took me in, put a blanket around me, gave me some tea, got an ambulance, went to the hospital. But yeah, it was a subdural hematoma, and that was awful. It was not a pleasant experience. And they said that I wouldn't be able to ride my bike for 6 months. I was on the bike way sooner than that, but the injuries, the physical injuries healed a lot faster than the mental ones, because since then, and I guess you're probably going through the same thing, you do lose your confidence because you think, I just don't want that to happen again. And I know a lot of people who've had that. And so for me, I guess it's going to be two parts. One, how to gain your confidence back, but then also how to prevent those accidents happening in the future. So for me, what I did after it was I just started pedaling again on Zwift. So I was indoor just to get used to just riding, settling. I think going out on a bike after you've had a crash, I think the indoor turbo is better, because you can kind of tell how long you can go for. You don't have to go out and do an hour. If you go on the bike indoors and you can only do 5 minutes, you can just get off. You're not in the middle of nowhere. So that's really important. And then the other thing for me is when I was ready to get back outdoors, I went on a mountain bike. I don't know what it was with a road bike, because they're just skinny tires, and I don't know. I just was I just want to go on the road. I went on my mountain bike. I wasn't sending it down some crazy sense. I mean on the road. So I basically just did a lap. Literally took me 5 minutes just around my block on my mountain bike, just to give me some confidence again of how to feel back on the bike, but with wider tires. And then I ended up riding to town, which is about 8k, 9k away, and just really gradually getting back into it, and just slowly building your confidence back. However, since then, I will never ride behind someone that I don't know. On group rides, I'm way more cautious than I would have been in the past, which I don't think is a bad thing. But also, I don't like being tucked in. So if we're in a group ride, I like to be on the outside. So I've always kind of got a get out if something happens. I don't like to feel I feel more claustrophobic, I guess. And that's just the adaptations that I've had to make, because it just still makes me feel I don't like being behind someone that I don't know, and I don't know how they ride. I have to really trust you as a rider to be able to do that. And I think the main thing is building your confidence is understanding why the crash happened. So for me, the crash happened because obviously it was just a pothole that, can't be helped. Potholes are all over, but the people that I ride behind, I trust that they're going to see, and I know that how they're going to react. And so that's important. So look at why you crashed and how can you implement something to prevent that happening again in the future. So for example, if you've crashed because you weren't paying attention, you need to make sure that you're always paying attention, because you can have a lapse of just the pothole of not paying attention. Sorry, I just hit the tripod. And then it can cause a really bad crash. And so that's important. Also, for example, if a car pulls out, I know a lot of my friends have had this happen. I guess now I've had it before where people pull out and it's a really close miss, but then that just makes me even more cautious and almost expecting, it's really bad, but almost expecting them to do it. So you're just slowing down and not just like razzing past them, making sure that they've also seen you. So it's also looking at why it happened and how you can prevent that happening again in the future. And I think the best tip and the best advice is just doing it slowly and just building your confidence back bit by bit, because it is scary. Like, I know one of my friends has crashed on a descent. He's very kind of cautious descending now because don't want to crash again. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Also, the other tip is never, like, what's the word? Ride outside your limits. Because I know a lot of people do this on descents and push themselves way harder than they want to, and that's when you feel like a little bit out of control, and that's when crashes might happen. So don't ever ride outside your limit, is what I would say. If you've got any tips on how to build your confidence after a crash, leave them in the comments, because I know a lot of us will have had crashes, and I think we've got a good knowledge between us on understanding like how to build that confidence again. So also, please don't, like, I know I've shared mine. Is that bad to say that? I just don't want it to be like a whole thread of like, oh, I had this terrible thing happen, because I don't want it to put people off. Crashes are part of and a risk of riding on two wheels. Like, I guess there's a risk in anything. And I guess that's another way that I kind of got over it, is accepting that I could trip over walking down the street, or accidents can happen. It's just reducing that risk. So don't let it put you off cycling. Hope that helps. I'll see you all next video. Okay, goodbye.